So first, same procedure. First we considered hoop stress and longitudinal stress. Then we got the values in terms of pressure 5p and 10p and 5p. So now strains we are considering. So we are diametrical strain. We are writing in terms of stresses according to Hooke's law. Okay. Then epsilon 1 we are considering. So 10 minus 0.3 into 5. What is the value?
8.5.
8 point. Similarly, what other strains are there? So change in diameter is over. Change in length. Okay. So when you consider change in length, we have to consider. So this is a cylinder. So you are assuming that this change in this direction is positive. Okay. That is more compared to change in circumferential direction. Okay. So this will take it as compressive. This will take it as tensile in nature. So we'll take this as positive, this as negative. So similarly, have you noted this one?
Yes, sir.
E you can keep it as it is. In the end, you can solve it. Okay. Now take the longitudinal strain, change in length. Okay, strain. So change in length upon original length. Okay, consider this as epsilon 2. Consider this as epsilon 2. So now you consider the change along the longitudinal direction as positive. So make it as epsilon 2 minus epsilon 1. Or if you want to write in terms of stresses, longitudinal stress upon E minus. So whenever minus is there, consider Poisson's ratio, hoop stress upon E. Okay, is it okay? The interchange of the previous one. So 1 upon E again. So sigma L is here 5p minus zero point 0.3 into 10p. So what is the value? 5 minus zero point 0.3 into 10.
Sir, 2.
2p upon E. Keep that E as it is so that it will be easy for us to solve in the end. Okay, keep that E as it is. So we get the two equations. This is 5p, correct? 8.5p upon E. So next you know that volumetric strain. So previous problem we have seen. What is volumetric strain? That one formula you have written, right? The last previous class. Volumetric strain. 2 times epsilon 1 plus epsilon 2. Correct? Volumetric strain 2 times epsilon 1 plus epsilon 2. Correct? This is correct? Now take this epsilon 1 and epsilon 2 values, substitute it here in this equation. So 2 into epsilon 1 is 8.5p by E plus epsilon 2 is 2p upon E. Tell me the value. 2 into 8, sorry, 2 into 8.5 P plus 2P. What is the value? Same 17, 17, no? This is 17, 18, 19, 19,
19.
19 P upon E. So that is volumetric strain. Okay, change of volume. So why we are doing this is because in the question they have told uh, the additional volume of pressure is added. How much it is? An additional 25,000 millimeter cube. Okay, so data you add this and this data. Change of volume. Earlier it was P, so change of volume happened to be this much, 25,000 millimeter cube. That is delta V is given in the question. Please note this. 25,000 mm cube. That is the change of volume given in the question. So consider that. What is volume? Volume of a cylinder. Previous class we have written the formula. Pi d square into L. Correct. Pi by 4 d square into L. That is the volume of a cylinder. 19 into P upon 2 into 10 power 5. So all known terms and only one unknown term, which is the pressure. You can calculate. Calculate and see how much you'll get. Twenty-five thousand upon pi by 4 d square upon L. L is 2000 mm. 19 into P upon 2 into 10 power 5. Okay, calculator. Calculate P. Value of pressure. Now you can go back and calculate all the stresses. One is hoop stress. Another is longitudinal stress. Then you tell me the values of this. Now take, you have calculated the p value as 4.18. If taken this two equations, you will get the hoop stress and longitudinal stress. Okay.
1.8.
41.88 Newton per millimeter square. Then
And sigma L is 20.94.
20.94. Yeah, half of this, correct. What about sigma 1 and sigma, sorry, epsilon 1 and epsilon 2 strains, which is one is 8.5 P upon E and 2 P upon E, correct? Volumetric strain also you can find it. It's easy. Or if you want to find out, if they ask in the question change of length and change of diameter, change of diameter is here, change of length is here. Okay. So after you get this value, just multiply with the D, you will get a change of diameter value. After getting this value, multiply with the L, you will get change of length value. So you can calculate the change in diameter as well as change in length. So very interesting problem. What value you are getting? Whatever value you are getting, you multiply that with the d. So change of diameter you must be able to get 0.0356. Are you getting this value? Have you understood the procedure? After calculating P, we have taken this, going back to the same formula, change the diameter by original diameter, that is epsilon 1, 8.5 P upon E. So we are taking this and then multiplying with the D, then we'll get the change of diameter as well as the change of length. Are you getting these values? Uh, Interesting topic is fixed cylinders. So how the stress variations? So we have seen stresses in thin cylinders, correct? So all this pressure cookers and such type of pressure vessels coming under the category of thin cylinders. Now, if we go to some commercial applications, you will find thick cylinders like boilers or something. Okay, so how the stress variations will be there? Then what will be the bursting force inside, and how the uh, design of that particular cylinder should be made such that the pressure of the fluid is sustained inside without bursting. So, in order to know that, we should understand how the stress variation of the cylinders take place. Okay. So, next, thick cylinders. Do you know the difference between thin and thick cylinders? How do you differentiate thin and thick cylinders? So, if the diameter to thickness or thickness to diameter ratio. So thickness of the shell is less than d upon 15 to 20. Okay, this range. Some textbooks will find it as 15. So it is in the range of 15 to 20. So if we divide the diameter by 20 parts, then thickness should be even less than that. Okay. So T upon D ratio should be this much, less than this, not less than this. Then you say that as a thin cylinder, if this thickness to diameter ratio is greater than 1 by 20, then it is called as thick cylinder. So usually the thick cylinder is one which has a very thick shell. So these are the stresses inside the cylinder due to the pressure of the fluid. Take it as Pi. The Pi is internal pressure. Pi is internal pressure. Then Atmospheric pressure, which will be acting from outside. Okay, so that will be PO. So ambient pressure or atmospheric pressure. So outside pressure. External pressure and internal pressure, both are in Newton per millimeter square. So how the stress variation will be? Say how the stress will be inside, how the stresses will be outside, whether it is gradually decreasing stresses, or it is increasing, or it is varying. So all this we'll try to understand in this chapter. Okay. So di is the internal diameter. Sorry, should not dimension. Okay. So di is the internal diameter of the cylinder in mm. Do is the external diameter. So di is the internal diameter in mm, internal diameter in mm, external diameter in mm. T is the thickness. Okay. T is the thickness. So there can be three type of stresses in this. Okay. One is tangential stress. Another is longitudinal stress. And third one will be radial stress. So in thin cylinders, we are ignoring this radial stress. Okay, so radial stress is negligible since the thickness of this particular cylinder will be more. Okay, obviously here T by D ratio will be greater than for this thick cylinder. T by D ratio will be greater than 1 upon 20. So thickness will be more of the shell. So in that case, in thin cylinders, we ignored this particular radial stress. Okay, radial stresses are stresses which are generated in radial direction. Radial direction. So we are ignoring this in the thin cylinder, whereas we are considering all these three stresses: tangential stress, longitudinal stress, and radial stress. Tangential stress is stress. Say, for example, you consider one element like this at a distance r, okay, from the center. So if you draw one tangent to that particular radius, okay, if you take a radius like that, so these stresses will be tangential stress, sigma t. So radial stress will be in this direction, perpendicular to that, and longitudinal will be perpendicular to this board. Will be like that in this direction. So x, y, z, all three directions, the stresses will be there. So tangential stress will be at a tangent drawn to a radius of a circle, taking the center from this point O, and perpendicular to that will be the radial stress, and the tangential stress will be perpendicular to these two stresses. Okay, that is along the length. If you take the along the length of this particular cylinder along the axis, so then there will be longitudinal stress. So we have to see the stresses in all three directions and analyze for the stress variation in this particular cylinder. Okay, that will continue in the next class. Answer your attendance. Mohammed Shahir. Mohammed Shahir,
Present, sir.
Ashish Kumar,
Present, sir.
Babin Babu, Babin, Gagan, Govan Kumar, Likit,
Present, sir.
Manuel John,
Present, sir.
Mohammad Nizar, Mohammad Nizar, Navneet,
Present, sir.
Navneet, you are absent for many classes. Okay.
Present, sir.
Prajwal, present.
Present, sir.
Present.
Sri Krishna Bhatt,
Present, sir.
Rajat,
Present, sir. Present.
Dhanush, 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 where is Dhanush? Dhanush has logged in. Gangadhar,
Present, sir.
Charan,
Present, sir.
Atish, Atish, So this derivation is little bit bigger. Okay, so we have to carefully see while deriving this particular equation. So I'll do it in parts, okay, so that you understand the derivation. It's called Lenz's theory equation. So next class we'll see that in detail. So very important derivation. This is derivation for stress variation in fixed element. Okay, then I'll end this session. You log into the okay.